Yes, guys, welcome back to another video. Welcome to the George Benson Football Channel. Fulham versus Chelsea is a final for Chelsea Football Club. Yes, I know, I always come out here and I say, this is the biggest game of the season. I tell you what, if the players had the same kind of energy going into a game that I do, or that you do, and we look at every match with the desire to bring the same intensity, to bring the same desire to win. If the players and the manager had that same level of thinking, then we might well be in a better position. Right now, the biggest issue when it comes to what we're doing on the pitch at Chelsea, we spoke yesterday about all the other stuff. You can check that video out if you want to. Mentality is everything right now. The last two league games, away at Brentford, 0-0, home to Ipswich, 2-2. Lucky, really, to be quite honest, being 2-0 down. We have dropped 4 valuable points. And if we would have won both of those matches, we'd be in the top 4 right now. And it is the top 5 that we are currently striving for. So Chelsea have put themselves in a really tricky position. If you'd have asked me before the Brentford game and the Ipswich game, what are the easiest matches to come? The easiest matches were the 2 games that we have just dropped 4 points in. We go to Craven Cottage and we have to treat this as a final. If we're looking at this game thinking, well, we got Everton at home and Liverpool will be champions by then, Man United at home, they're focusing on the Europa League. Listen, this is a game we have to win. There's no excuses. I don't want to hear anyone telling me that, Fulham are really good at home. They beat Liverpool at Craven Cottage. We'd be lucky to get a draw. Nonsense. This Fulham team, yes, they do create a lot of chances. And if we take a look at that Liverpool match, the first half, 3 big chances created. Overall in that game, Liverpool also had 3. But Fulham are not a side that always are just going to sit back and soak up pressure. They have got quality in this team. And they have had a very good season. They play with a 4-2-3-1. Leno, experienced goalkeeper. Robinson, who's been one of the best left-backs in the Premier League this season. Iwobi is a man just completely revitalised at Fulham. And all in all, Rodrigo Muniz as well, great striker. I think this is a really tricky game for Chelsea. And if I'm being really honest with you, right, going into this one, I don't think we're going to win. Having watched those 2 Premier League games and sat here in front of this camera doing a live stream and then seeing what was, for me, I'm kind of over it, but I'm not. It was an embarrassment what we saw on Thursday night. Right now, the Chelsea mentality is in the mud. We aren't taking football matches that we should be winning seriously. And that is not just the Conference League games. It's Premier League matches too. And I want everybody right now to flick that switch and remember that we are in a dogfight. We are in a dogfight to finish in the top 5 to ensure the club's finances for next season being in the Champions League. But also, us fans don't want to sit through these ridiculous Thursday night fixtures anymore. And I tell you what, the way that we're playing right now, it isn't even a foregone conclusion that we get into the flipping Europa League through the league positions. The only way we're going to get Europa League guarantee is by winning the Conference League. I'm seriously worried at the form that we have in the Premier League with Newcastle away, Forest away, Liverpool, Man United, Everton at home. These are tricky matches, but we have to go to Fulham this weekend and get a result. Enzo Maresca's comments in his pre-match press conference about Reece James here, because the comments about Reece are that at the start of the season, Maresca called him out, and I think at the time it was right to do so, because when you look at this Chelsea squad, there isn't an abundance of leaders, we know that. There's not an abundance of experience either. And Maresca wanted more from Reece James. If Reece could have stayed fit, I think, earlier this season, that could have been empowering. But when you're asking for more from players, they need to feel empowered. Right now, Reece James only starting against Legia Warsaw, not coming on when we're getting beaten at home to Ipswich and we're then drawing and chasing a game. Reece James right now, he looked disgusted in his post-match interview. He looked like someone who has lost all interest, who doesn't know where to turn. So when it comes to Maresca saying, we don't really have any clear leaders out there, why don't you try picking the captain? Why don't you try putting that captain out there on the pitch and empowering him? Say to Reece James the way that Mourinho did. Do you remember, have you seen the BBC? Mourinho's talking about what he did to Samuel Eto'o by telling him in the build-up to the Champions League quarter-final against Chelsea that he wasn't going to pick Samuel Eto'o, and then Eto'o goes and scores the winner against us in the Champions League. If you're not going to be able to play these psychological games to get the best out of your players, at this point, when it comes to Reece James, all you have to do is pick him and play him in his correct position, and I'm sure as a result of empowering him by giving him the role he needs and deserves, you're going to get that leadership back. Reece James playing in CDM isn't his natural position. That isn't where he should be playing. All of these complicated instructions. Simplify it. Play players in their correct positions and you will probably yield better results. Now, I don't know why I have to sit here saying all of this when that guy's getting paid millions a year, Enzo Maresca, to pick the right players, to play the players in the correct position. But unfortunately, right now, I think it's universally agreed at Chelsea that we got serious flipping issues. But I'm not going to try and repeat all the stuff I've said in the last couple of videos because I'm looking forward to this game tomorrow against Fulham and I'm treating this like a must-win final. And I really hope all of the players and Maresca understand this and they trigger it and think about it the same way. Because Champions League football next season, it was in our hands. Now, we've got to make it in our hands again. We've got to earn the right to grab that back and be like, nah, Newcastle, no Man City, no Aston Villa, you ain't getting our spot because we want to be back on the top table. We want to be feasting and eating. That is what we need to do. Tomorrow against Fulham or today, if you're watching this video, we need something magical here. We need to turn it on and do something very different to what we have seen in the last 3 Chelsea matches. Those draws and that defeat to Legia Warsaw. I've got no more time to listen to, oh, well, Maresca coached a win. We keep on missing. Just stop missing. Stop missing big chances. Jackson, get back to getting yourself involved. Get back to barging into the defenders and muscling them out and running with the ball. We need to hurt this Fulham team. Cole Palmer, I'm looking at you as well. I know that it's been stifling. I know the football is suffocating. We all know it. Everyone knows it. Turn it on. Moment of magic. Do something against what you're told to do. Because we found out from last week, didn't we, that it's actually just an empty threat from Enzo Maresca. If you don't do as you're told, you're going to get subbed. Well, that wasn't the case when Rob Sanchez went long and Ipswich scored. So if you're one of the creative players, use the newly gathered data that the manager doesn't do what he says he's going to do and pull the rabbit out of the hat. Do something magic, all right? So without any further ado, we begin with Robert Sanchez. I think the less said about this, the better. Moving. Just flipping do your job, all right? Moving into the back 4. I have put Reece James at right back because Reece James is a right back, okay? And he's fit right now, and he's the best right back in the world. No one's telling me otherwise when he's fit. So it's Reece, Chalobah, Colwill, and Marc Cucurella. I want to see us go now with the strongest team. No more of these experiments. The inverted thing, I get it. Cucurella is actually very good, and he's been great. I think he's our top scorer in 2025, which is just absolutely harrowing, really, isn't it? He's the top scorer in the calendar year. I think that's correct, anyway. At least Marc Cucurella is bagging the goals. Levi Colwill needs to step up here. Chalobah also needs to step up. Now, there's a big dilemma here in this game because this is possible for this match today. Lavia and Caicedo. Enzo Maresca confirms that Romeo Lavia is available for this match for Chelsea. Now, the big debate here becomes, if Lavia comes in, do we go back to the Caicedo right-back experiment? Which, to be fair, we've not lost when we've done that. So maybe that actually isn't a bad idea, especially when Maresca insists on not playing Reece James in the Premier League. Whether that is because Maresca doesn't want to or because the club are telling him he's getting sold, who knows at this flipping point. But if that is the case, right, I don't think Enzo Maresca, having not started Enzo Fernandez on Thursday and seeing Palmer kind of limping around for the whole match, I believe there's a world, and just before I do this again, I keep changing the graphic, but I don't want Cole Palmer not to start because he still is one of our best players, even though he's totally out of form. And he still needs a goal. But is there a world where we could see this? This isn't what I want. Just to clarify, I can see the comments already. I can see you flipping, smashing your keyboards up. Madweki, Enzo, Sancho, Jackson. Chelsea is such a better team when we have Enzo, Lavia, and Caicedo playing together. And if we take a look at this Fulham 11 again that we saw against Liverpool, these guys in the middle here, Anderson, really strong centre-back, Bassi the same, Berg and Lukic had good games here even though the ratings are very low. I think this Fulham team are going to be very difficult for us to break through and break down. And I think if Lavia's in there and he's fit enough, look, I don't trust his fitness, I really don't, but we need all 3 of them out there on the pitch. However, there's obviously this, which is Romeo Lavia isn't fit enough to start, but then at the same time, I look at this team I built here, which is probably what I would like it to be, but I do want Lavia in. You see, so many debates right now, but obviously Palmer's got to be in there because I can't sit here and justify not having Cole Palmer in my Chelsea starting 11. So, is the more likely thing, if Lavia is fit, that we see this? Caicedo back at right back, Lavia and Enzo, Palmer in the 10, Madueke, Sancho. For me, that is what it's got to be for this game, and Nicolas Jackson up front. I think this is the lineup that we go for here, because I think Fulham away, there's going to be opportunities for Chelsea. I don't necessarily think it's going to be park the bus, low block, like it is against Ipswich, Leicester, and all these teams that we've really struggled against this season. I don't think Chelsea are going to have the luxury of having the ball for 70% of the match. I think we're probably going to dominate possession. We're probably going to have more of it. But when I say dominate, it's not like dominate. Do you know what I mean? So if Lavia is fit enough to play, I think that this could be the best option. And look, I don't like having Caicedo in there, but unfortunately, we've used a 4-2-3-1 all season long. Maresca doesn't want to put Palmer on the right wing, which, look, at this point in time, right, why can't we see Palmer play in Noni's position? Or, do you know what I mean? Noni, I think, could be quite important here. Robinson is a very, very solid left back, so he's going to have his work cut out, but I do back Noni to beat him still in 1v1s. This is a fascinating matchup for Chelsea, and if I'm being really honest with you, I'm not confident about it whatsoever, because what I've seen recently, I feel as though Maresca's lost the players. I feel as though the players are bored of the football. I feel as though just the overall energy out there on the pitch is nowhere near enough for this stage of the season. Maresca's saying about how many changes he made for that Conference League team. There's no beating around the bush. That was a strong team that should have won. And you've got so many players, including the players we rely on to score. Jackson, Palmer. Jackson hasn't scored in 12. Palmer hasn't scored in 15. This is a chronic issue at Chelsea. If those numbers were like 5 and 3, you'd be like, oh, they're a bit out of form. But this is half a season we're talking about here, where our two most prolific players have gone missing. We have to rectify this problem today. This game is a must-win. There is no, oh, well, Fulham are a good side, difficult to beat. Shut up. Every game now, we have to win. If we don't, we've only got ourselves to blame. And Maresca is hanging by a thread right now. The amount of Chelsea fans that were even blindly Maresca in, everybody is finally now seeing this ain't right. This is unacceptable. Something's got to give. And look, I made a video yesterday, directed every message I said to the players first, then Maresca, then sporting directors, then the owners, because everybody here is at fault. Everyone. The players haven't been good enough. Yes, they haven't got anyone to turn to. There's no leaders. There's no plan B. There isn't any creative, excitement because of the rigid structure of how we play. But now, these players, right, if they're not all going to get moves to Champions League clubs, which some of them might look for it if we don't get there, but a lot of these players will have to be at Chelsea next season, whether they want to be or not. And do you want to play in the Conference League or the Europa League? Probably the Europa League's probably going to win the Conference League, I hope, surely. Are we? Who bloody knows? If you want to be a Champions League player, earn it. That's what everyone else has got to do. That's what Newcastle have got to do. Villa have got to do. And I'll be watching that game very closely. And there will be a video about that game out on More GBFC. And all that's left to do now is give you guys a score prediction for Fulham versus Chelsea. There's two things that we're going to play with here. We are going to play with what needs to happen, what I want to happen, and what my depths of my brain is saying could happen. And then there's reality. The reality is, I'm not confident, but I want to be proven wrong. I believe it's going to finish Fulham 2, Chelsea 2, but I obviously want a win, and I don't care if that is a Bassi own goal. I don't care if we win 7-0, 8-0, 5-4, 6-5. At this point, I don't care. Just win. Just flipping win. 3 points is the only thing that is acceptable. There is no middle ground. There is no more all buts. It is win, win, win. Do your job and get us back to where we belong. End of story. GBFC memberships are linked in the description. There are 2 tiers now. Early access to the 3 More Points podcast for members. It will be uploaded for you on Monday and then released for everybody on the channel on Wednesday. As well as that, there's also a members only weekly show that I will be doing here live on YouTube. So if you want to get involved, make sure you do. Tomorrow, there will be a stream for Chelsea Fulham. It is a 2 p.m. UK time kickoff. I will be live 90 minutes before the start of the game, all the way through the match, and then 6 things we learned straight after. Subscribe to More GBFC as well. The link to that is in the description. I posted a really sick video, or at least I think it's really good. I went to watch the 2 best teams in Thailand in a big game in the Cup, and the ticket was £2, so I show you about everything that was there. Really cool video. Link to that down below, or card, or end screen. I'll see you guys tomorrow.